should be live. Welcome everybody to another live stream repair. We've got 3 HomePods that have showed up today. The first one we'll be looking at comes from Chris, and it's got no power. Then we'll move on to Jason's, that has popping issues, and we'll finish up with GJ, who also has popping issues. Our drink of choice today is a little teeny tiny Corona. So stay hydrated, guys, and good stuff. Let's go ahead and double check the symptoms on this first one here and get started. So we'll plug that into power. Check and see we've got no response and about 5 watts being drawn at the wall. So all seems like classic signs of that diode shorting out on the amplifier. So let's crack it open and find out. Easy peasy. Alright, now let's get that display taken off up there. Easy peasy. Get that on a base. Time for the pry. Ah, lovely. Coming up nice and easy. That's right, just give it up. Yes. Alright, that seems loose enough to pry off by hand. Very nice. Let's get everything recentered here. Oh, I gotta step away for a sec. Alright, sorry about that. I've got a pretty nasty water leak right at the main connection in our front yard, and they had sent some plumbers out to try to fix it, but unfortunately they are unable to get to what they need to in order to do so. It's going to be quite the extensive project for the management company to try to figure out, but that's what you pay rent for. So let's try to get back to this. And out with the woofer. Let's peek at the condition of that voice coil in there. Looks nice and coppery. The woofer feels good, nice and smooth. And I don't smell any issues with it, so we can not worry about the woofer's condition at all. this one wants to play games. There we go. That's strange. Why is that sticky? Not a problem. Let's get the rest of this apart. I'll be right back. Alright, sounds like the Flex Seal is going to come out for the main water leak there. So, things are getting interesting. They're actually going to they're going to turn the main water off. Because they can't fix where the leak is actually coming from because there's a wall in the way. So they're going to shut the main water off, because if they leave it on, it's just going to flood my whole front yard. But they're going to leave the water off. I'm going to go out there when we're done with our repair stream today here, and I'm going to go slap some Flex Seal on that leak and turn the water back on until they can come out here and properly fix it. It's not on them. They had no idea what they were walking into when they were told to show up and fix a water leak. Okay. The amplifier is free. So, if we grab our multimeter here, switch on over to the up-close camera, get a nice beautiful shot of that diode in question here. There we go. We've got a date code on that diode of 1748K. So almost certainly, based on personal experience repairing so many of these by now, this is probably the only issue that we've got here. This diode is probably shorted out. So let's grab our meter, stick it in continuity test mode, and test this diode really quick. It doesn't matter whether we put the positive or negative probe on the bottom pin here. It does not matter. And then we'll take our other probe here and probe each of the two little pins. And yep, that diode is short through and through. So most likely this is just part of that bad batch of diodes, considering the date code that it has on there. Pretty much all of the diodes with 1746 or 1748K seem to be failing, and all the diodes with other date codes seem to be working just fine still. Not positive correlation isn't always causation. So we can't say for certain that, just because it's got the date code on there that matches all the other ones that die, that for sure we've got a bad batch of diodes going on here. The one thing that could explain why we're seeing that is simply because they just used, or they had more of these diodes with this specific date code in stock when they manufactured these. So correlation isn't always causation. This could just simply be a poor quality part in general. This part could be not adequate for what it's doing on the amplifier. Who knows? In any case, we're going to get that replaced and get this HomePod powering on again. Hey, welcome to the stream, Jeff. Did you watch the new the Apple event today? Unfortunately, nothing with HomePods. They had some cool stuff to talk about. I'm not going to talk about how much of a tantrum I threw this morning when they ended the stream without talking about HomePods. I'm very sad. But it is what it is. Somebody on Reddit sent me a chat message with a link to apparently a class action lawsuit against Apple for the 14.6 software bricking HomePods and putting them into the blinking volume button state. Apparently, somebody had filed a class action lawsuit against Apple back in I think January or February of this year. And it seems to still be an ongoing case, but I'm fingers crossed that maybe something will come out of that. Again, I doubt it. It's a class action, so the lawyers could probably give a shit if Apple actually gets forced to give us a solution to repair these brick to HomePods. More likely, they're just trying to get more money and a $20 check to everybody that bought a HomePod. Maybe I'm completely wrong there, and these guys really do care about seeing the right outcome from all of this, but I'm not too optimistic reading through the case filing, because it's all public. You can go and see exactly what they are alleging here, and they seem to be incorrectly attributing certain failures to certain causes, which has me a little concerned. But at the same time, it also means Apple's going to have to come out and say, this is what causes this failure. And that's going to be public record. So, something's got to come out of this. YouTube is apparently not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I don't understand why that is a problem right now, but we're gonna carry on. That makes no sense because all of my stats here look all nice and green and hunky-dory. I'm not dropping any frames here. What's your problem, YouTube? Some people are probably shaking their fists at the screen saying, "Get rid of that solder ball on the bottom of that diode." Well, too bad. You're going to get these balls, whether you like it or not. You're trading your 12 Pro Max in for the 14 Pro Max because of satellite? Yeah, honestly, the satellite connectivity is what really blew my mind there. And the fact that they give it to you for free for the first 2 years, which my wife made a good point is essentially the lifespan of the phone. So imagine you buy the phone and 2 years from now, suddenly when you have to start paying for it, but they'll probably offer this a similar thing if you buy the next one. And I don't even go into mountains and hike and all that much. It's just the idea of that extra little sense of security there, in case something were to happen. Alright, well, we got that diode replaced, so let's swap cameras over here. And let's boot this board up, see if we've got it powering on, and see if it's got any DC offset that needs to be taken care of while we're here. The always on display, the satellite connectivity, and the camera upgrades are the three big reasons why I would want to upgrade from my 12 Pro Max. But work pays for my phone, so I don't have much of a say. And I think I got this phone like 6 months ago, so I've got quite a while before I can justify asking for another upgrade. My personal line, however, I've got a Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, and I think it's finally up for renewal, so I can go and pick a new phone, but I've already got the iPhone for work, so I like to have an Android phone for personal, just to carry both platforms on me and have a choice as to what I want to use for what. I constantly find myself switching between the two because they're both good at their own things. Alright, just about got everything we need connected so we can power this on. Let's connect a multimeter to our subwoofer here so we can get a good idea on any DC offset that this may have. And boot this baby up. Yeah, and we got power. And do we have DC? No. We've got a pretty cool, chill result of 1 millivolt. Seems to be going down a little bit too. So no signs of any DC offset to be concerned with on this guy. It looks ready to rock. Let's throw them on back together and we'll move on to the next HomePod. There we go. Here's our lovely little shell. Let's get nice and tight in there. Make sure this guy's all lined up. I want to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. That's better. Well, they're giving you 2 years of free satellite connectivity if you buy the phone, which in and of itself is a hell of a deal. If you go and you buy any other satellite phone on the market, you're gonna have to pay for the connectivity too. You can't just buy the satellite phone and get. It doesn't just, like, you got to pay for the satellite service too. It's a separate thing. So the iPhone isn't going to be any different from that unless Apple goes and launches their own satellites and decides to offer that as a free service. They'd have to build out their whole infrastructure for that though. I am curious how much the satellite service is going to end up being once you have to pay for it. I didn't look that up. Hey, Eddie, welcome to the stream. Also considering not everybody needs the satellite service anyways. Most people are going to be, they just live in the city or they're usually within cell connectivity and they're not as adventurous as other people are. So all things considered, I don't see anything wrong with it so long as they're not charging too much for the service. And I imagine it's going to be competitive with the other options that you've got out there. It seems like this time around they really focused on cramming a bunch of hardware and features into their new products that really compete with like Garmin and other health and fitness trackers. The connectivity should not be free with your other service options because it's a completely different technology. And you got entirely different entities that operate those satellites. If T-Mobile had satellite internet service, then maybe it would make a little more sense, yeah, but think of it as like saying, I pay for internet at home, so why should I have to pay for my regular cell service if I've got internet at home? Yeah, that's what wasn't clear to me when they were talking about eSIMs. Are they completely moving away from physical SIM cards in all of their iPhones? Or is that going to be like based on which model you actually buy? Because I know for the iPhone 12 and the 13, you could just buy the dual SIM card like tray and stick it in your single SIM card iPhone and gain the dual SIM functionality without having to do anything else. All of it, they're all getting eSIM. That hurts. Because, like, I move my SIM cards around my phones all the time for testing for my work, my normal, like, day job. So being able to easily move my service from one phone to another just by swapping a card is much more convenient for me, especially with my social anxiety, than getting on the phone with my cell service provider every single time I want to temporarily test something on another phone. And it's like this was one of the huge benefits back in the day, if you remember, when Verizon and Sprint were the only cell carriers. They used CDMA technology, which essentially uses the physical hardware ID of your phone to connect to the cell towers, and you'd have to call Verizon every time you want to move service to a different phone. Whereas on AT&T and T-Mobile, they were on GSM, so you could just swap your SIM cards between phones as much as you want, and the service would move with the SIM card. But now everybody's going to that old school freaking. Well, I guess it's new eSIM, but to me, it still feels very old because that's what Verizon and Sprint used to do on their CDMA networks. Practically the same thing. I see its benefits though. Like they made a good point that it's going to be a lot harder for somebody to perform like a physical attack against you if they get your phone. They can't just take your SIM card, put it in another phone, and then use that cell service to hack into all of your accounts that are two-factored using your phone number. No. They can't just pull the eSIM from your phone. So in that regard, I see it's more secure. But still, only eSIM with no other options. That hurts. That's exactly what I was saying, Jeff. eSIM is what CDMA used to be. Pain in the arse. Yeah, gotta try to keep it PG here. Back in the old CDMA days, y'all kids don't remember. Yeah, I'm gonna be on my 12 Pro Max for a very long time, I feel. My wife, however, she just has the one phone. She just has a Note 10 Plus. And she really needs something that has a better camera. Because like the camera on the Note 10 it's okay, it's good, but I'm so spoiled by the camera on my iPhone 11 and 12, and the nighttime performance is incredible too. But she needs a better phone with a better camera that can take photos of her nail art. So we'll probably end up upgrading her Note 10 to the new iPhone. Also, the color options this year, what the heck? Pretty lame and boring and bland, if you ask me. Like, another main reason why I'm sticking with this iPhone right here is I just absolutely love this deep blue color. And well, first of all, the Pro models don't have any good color options in my opinion this year. The purple looks pretty nice, but I'll appreciate it in the hands of my wife. I was hoping that they would have a nicer blue than the very tame blue on the non-Pro models this year, but I'm being picky. First world problems. At the same time though, for how much you're paying for these phones, you're going to want to get the one in the color that you're going to be happy with, because you're going to be stuck with the thing for potentially years. So get what makes you happy and don't settle for less. I would totally rock the new purple for sure, though. But I can't justify rocking the purple over my blue. I love the blue so much more. I'm also a little miffed at the new design of the notch on the Pros. That's it's cool, but it's also, I see it as like it's gonna be a whole nother place for things to get like complicated, and like I imagine it's just gonna be a massive cluster when you're switching between apps all the time, and like how are they gonna fight over that real estate there? I don't know. Not sure about it. I might actually pick up the new Pro Apple Watch. They finally got sapphire glass on their Apple Watch. I bought an Apple Watch 5 when those came out because I really wanted the ECG to monitor my heart. But as far as the Android watches goes, I have this Huawei Watch Gen 1, and it has the sapphire glass. And the reason why I still use this to this day for my Android watch is because of that sapphire glass. I wear this all the time when I'm working on my car, and you wouldn't believe I've really banged this thing up against things, and the screen, given sapphire, is still in perfect condition. Like, see if we can get this cleaned off for you here. There is not a single mark or scratch on this screen. And I have really abused this thing. When I got my Apple Watch 5, not even an hour after I put it onto my wrist, I cracked the screen on it. I was putting my new audio amplifier into my rack, and I must have bumped the watch screen on on something, but it immediately cracked. So I got it replaced and put a screen protector on it. But the fact that the new Apple Watch uses the sapphire glass, that alone is enough of an upgrade for me to consider it over my 5. Because I don't like taking them off all the time when I'm working on stuff. I'd rather just keep it on and beat it up if I need to. That sapphire stuff is no joke, man. It's tough. Oh, and it's also 49 millimeters, dude. That thing is gonna be a chonky mother effer on your wrist there. Give that to me. Give me the biggest freaking screen you can. I don't care if it looks as big as an iPhone on my wrist. I will wear it. Give me the biggest screen you can cram in that thing. I will look like a dork. I don't care. So when they said that the screen was going to be as big as it was on that thing, I was all for it. And it does. Honestly, it does. It looks a little ugly, but I love it. Yeah, I saw the price. I winced, and then I justified it. And I would totally opt for a cheaper one that did not come with the cellular, because I would probably never use the cellular service on mine. But of course, that's not going to be the way for the pro models. So here I am, probably going to spend as much on a watch as we used to for top tier flagship smartphones back in the day. Yeah, the regular Series 8, I was meh. Zero reason for me to switch from a Series 5 to the Series 8. But the Pro, oh, I'm getting that Pro. I'm gonna try. I'll probably buy the Pro like off contract, like used or something, and then just never activate the cell service, because I would really never use it, and I'm not gonna pay for an extra phone line for it. That's silly. My phone is always within pairing distance of my watch, so that's never a concern for me. I was also hoping they would maybe include some sort of glucose monitoring finally, but unfortunately not. Someone else is probably going to beat them to the punch. No, I don't have any interest in fixing broken HomePods to resell them. I have a bunch of reasons why I don't like doing that. First of all, if I'm buying a broken HomePod, I have no idea on the history of that HomePod, how it was used and how it was abused. So I could fix it for whatever its current problems are, and who's to say a month or two down the road it experiences some other problems. Also, I can't sell these if I buy broken ones and resell it. I can't price them fair enough to where it would be both worth my time and a reasonable cost for someone to think about purchasing. Broken ones are creeping up in price, and I'm not going to say that's my fault, but I feel like me publishing all this content and all this information on how to fix them is certainly not helping the cause as far as trying to get your own broken ones for a reasonable price. But I don't want to focus or distract myself or worry about selling things per se. I want to focus more on repairing and providing a good service for those repairs. And that also means having the parts on hand to fix people's pods if anything comes up, or I don't know. I generally dislike selling things. And it's not even just HomePods. I just hate selling things. And if I start selling broken ones, then that's going to add to how much money I'm making a month doing this sort of thing, and I don't know how that works with taxes and, well, I mean, running a business. I did at one point. I used to buy broken ones, fix them and sell them, and never had any issues with that for the most part. Really, it was just a lot of trying to post them for sale, for example, on Reddit, and then, of course, Reddit's auto mods are complete trash, and my posts constantly get deleted or shadow banned, so nobody sees them. And then when finally someone sees it and buys it, then suddenly I get 15 people messaging me asking if I still have them for sale. And of course, it's been for sale for 2 weeks with no bites, and now you ask me as soon as somebody else already bought it. Yeesh. It got very stressful and annoying to buy broken ones, fix them, and resell them. So we're here focusing on repairs. So I can usually, on average, I can get my hands on one for like a broken HomePod for about $120 to $140. Plus tax, that's $130 to $150. And then Shipping is going to be around $20 to $30. So that's, 160. So we're looking at $180, $190 already. And then there's my time and the parts that it takes to fix that, which could be anywhere from, just $1 or $2 to $20 to $40 ish worth of parts. And before you know it, you've got to start asking for more than people are selling untouched working used ones. And then you got to deal with people complaining that, like, oh, well, it was taken apart or it's been repaired, so you shouldn't be charging as much as you should for a used one. In my opinion, it's already been fixed. Any of the major problems that it would have experienced, it has already experienced and been fixed. So buying a refurbished or repaired product in general, to me, that just seems like a way more reliable potential than buying something that has been working perfectly fine up to the point that you were buying it. I don't know. I could just be full of baloney. Alright, fellas. Let's give it a go. First try. Drum roll, please. Yeah. Yeah. We got power. Of course we got power. We know what we're doing here.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. I'm having trouble.
Right on. Everything checks out. Let's go on and set that to the side. And we'll grab repair number 2 for the day. And if you didn't pay attention, you would swear the same one was right here. Alright, let's get that nice and centered. And we're going to plug this into power and check its symptoms here while we update our text. So Jason's here has no power issues. However, they say that they've got popping issues. So, oops. There we go. So let's wake this up now that it's turned on and fully booted and listen for any popping.
I'm having trouble connect.
And I honestly didn't hear any popping.
I'm having trouble.
No popping whatsoever. Let's power it up one more time and see if we can get it to pop. If this doesn't pop for us, what I'm going to do is we're going to skip it and I'm actually going to leave this plugged into power and let it get warm over time. Maybe play some music through it, and then I'm going to check and see if it pops.
I'm having.
Yeah, I still don't hear any popping. So we're going to go ahead and skip this one. I apologize, Jason, but I want to make sure that we're looking at the right issues here. And I want to get it into a state that we can actually see the issue occurring in order to properly diagnose and then repair it. We don't want to just jump into this blind and assume what the problem is and replace the parts and put it back together, or think we're good to go, send it back, and lo and behold, that wasn't their problem. So, yeah, no popping. So we're going to leave this plugged into power in the background for a while, and we're going to check back on this later. Until then, let's take a look at GJ's. So you're saying it's the base. Oh, hey, welcome to the stream, Jay. So, okay, let's bring yours back over here then. You're saying it's the base. So let's go ahead and factory reset this. And I'm going to pair it to my phone so we can play some music through it. Oh, no worries, Jason. No worries.
Your HomePod is about to reset. Keep pressing until you hear 3 beeps.
The wife is trying to sleep. Shh. Shh. I almost made my ears bleed. Alright, we've got ourselves a fresh iPhone over here. Hopefully we can... Okay, no, I said remind me later, my guy. Oh, okay, so yours is the dirty base issue, right? The reason why the base usually gets dirty is because of the DC offset. And DC offset usually has the hallmark symptom of loud popping when it goes in and out of standby. So that's why I didn't want to necessarily jump into this yet, because it may work fine for us now, but probably 15-20 minutes after leaving it plugged in or playing music through it, that's probably when those caps will warm up enough and start causing problems, and perhaps we may hear louder popping occur too. Let's get our camera reset here. Set this bad boy up. Let's put him into the game room. Apparently I have a speaker in the game room already. Uh-oh. Hey, you guys want to see a magic trick? If you haven't seen it the past 5 times I've shown it already. So this is our HomePod that's ready for setup, right? That's what prompted the center the HomePod into the camera frame there on the phone. If we grab this HomePod that's not plugged into any power, and we point our phone camera to that HomePod, it still triggers the setup on the HomePod that's actually being set up. Fun little trick there. It was more noticeable when it was a deep bass or a little louder. I have it paired with another one usually. Okay. Let me grab... Where's my MacBook? So I've got my MacBook here, And we're going to AirPlay a tone generator to this so we don't have to play copyrighted music. Let's see if the Wi-Fi on my MacBook decides to start working. Come on. It sees the Wi-Fi network. I'm like a malfunction magnet. Sine wave generator for Mac OS X. What did I use on my Mac? All right. Yes, I want to run this application. I don't care if it's a virus. Okay, so we're gonna do a sine wave at, I think 50 hertz should be good. Alright, and then we should be able to go here, AirPlay, oh that's AirDrop, AirPlay, oh god, which game room is it? I think it's this one. Come on. Come on. You can do it. Yeah. Oh, well, this doesn't let me output to the... That's lame. What Mac application will allow us to do this? I used one. Isn't there a way for me to see the apps that I've downloaded? Ah, here we go. Signal Lab. That's what I used. This is a tone generator that actually works with AirPlay. Let's crank that down to 45 hertz. Run continuously. Make sure we're connected via AirPlay. Wow. That's really quiet, I feel like. Oh, well, the amplitude's turned way down. That's probably why. Let's turn that amplitude up. Okay, I don't know. That's 40 hertz. You shouldn't be freaking out about 40 hertz. What about 50? 3 hertz. That's the sweet spot. Seems to be working fine though. I don't even know if you can hear me right now. We're pretty much at max volume. That crackling is not coming from the HomePod. That's coming from the AirPlay audio. Well, it seems to be working fine for now, at least. Is it going to pop for us if we unplug it from power now? No. It's going to want to be a happy camper. Alright, Jason, tell you what. I don't want to just assume what's wrong with this. I don't want to think what's wrong with it, fix it, and be wrong after I send it back to you and you experience the same issues. I want to take my time to make sure that this is actually... I actually understand what's going on here. I know what you're talking about, but I want to make sure that it's coming from what I think it is. And that's going to take a little more time than I want to take on this stream today. So I'm going to leave this plugged into power behind me. And after a few hours, I'm going to check on it and see, after it's been warmed up and used for a little bit, if it's got any DC offset. If it doesn't, then I might suspect maybe the subwoofer might be going out, or the amplifier chip inside. In any case, we'll get yours fixed up, but we just need to figure out exactly what it is that's causing it. So let's set that to the side, and we'll put a note on that. We'll get it plugged into some power. And let's take a quick look at GJ's HomePod here, because GJ reported the same symptoms. So I'm curious if theirs is going to show more obviously what I'm trying to show here. Okay. So here's GJ's. We got a matching set of 3 black HomePods in today. Let's power this one up and see if it pops for us. Alright, that booted up pretty fast. I heard a pop there. It wasn't as loud as...
I'm having trouble.
Yeah, shut up. It isn't as loud as I would have expected, but it's popping. And if we unplug it, nah, no popping. Let's try that one more time. Am I the one fixing your wife's white HomePod? Let me check my email really quick. Well, that's a great name too. You couldn't ask for anything better. You've got Jeff and Jess. I haven't gotten any emails from a Jess.
I'm having
All
trouble.
right, yeah, no, the popping is getting louder every time we try, so it's warming up and it's getting worse. So that's what I expected with Jason's back there. And let's go ahead and tear this one apart.
I'm having trouble connecting.
And stop talking. Let's tear this one apart and see what we find in here. But yeah, Jeff, if your wife needs her HomePod fixed up too, you guys can shoot me an email, and we can get that fixed up for you, provided it's something that we can actually fix. You know, most of the audio issues we can take care of. Any power issues we can take care of. The only thing that we can't fix yet is that dreaded blinking volume buttons. What exactly is wrong with it, if you don't mind me asking? Is it no power? Death farts? What you got? What's going on? How can we fix HomePod? No bass? Yeah, we can fix no bass. If the subwoofer speaker needs to be replaced, the repairs, no matter what needs to be fixed, at most repairs will be $80. But if your bass speaker is still good and we just need to repair or replace the amplifier, then it's only $60. So most repairs are $60. If the bass speaker needs to be replaced too, it goes up to $80. And that's all there is to it. Go to my website. Go to my website, nixfix.com. And then I've got a button where you can email me. And if you want, you can go ahead and shoot me an email. And that way I can keep track of your guys' HomePod, and I can hit you guys up when it's time to send it back. Oh, and my website has the address for you to ship it into as well. Be sure you check. I'm assuming you live in the U.S. If that's correct, go to pirateship.com and use that for your UPS or USPS shipping label when you send it in to me. It's going to be way cheaper if you go buy it online there instead of going to the shipping store and buying the shipping there in person. Heck, it's cheaper than if you go to their own websites too. So, save you a couple bucks on shipping there. And then when we send it back to you, we will just roll the return shipping charge into the repair charge. So however much it is for you to send it in to me will probably be how much it'll be for me to send it back to you. What would you like me to type? I'll put whatever you need into the chat. Oh yeah, sure. My website, it's up at the top left here, nixfix.com, and I'll also type it in the chat here. I'm quite proud of my website. Time for the pry. Alright, that should be ready to pull. Oh boy. Yeah. You can't beat me. Alright, let's inspect the woofer real quick, make sure it's in good condition. Feels good, smells good, and looks good. That is a happy woofer. Let's dive a little deeper. whatever we end up finding and seeing on GJ's HomePod here, I'm expecting to see and find the same thing when we go back to Jason's HomePod with the popping, or the dirty bass, I should say. But since this one had a little more noticeable popping than the other one, we're going to take a look at this one first. We've got Jason's HomePod behind us plugged into power right now, so it should be getting plenty of juice and warming those caps up for us. Okay, before we jump into any repairs on this guy, first we want to confirm what our problem here is. I suspect we've got probably not too much DC offset on a cold boot here, but it's probably one of those cases where the caps here are probably going bad, but they are getting worse with heat. So we'll get this powered on. We'll connect the multimeter to the subwoofer so we can see how much DC offset the amplifier is producing. And likely what we'll see is a low offset reading to start, and it'll probably grow. It'll probably increase as soon as we power it on. That's what I'm expecting to see here. Alright, make sure we've got our meter connected. Alright, boot it up. We're watching our meter here, and the DC offset seems to be hanging out around 3 millivolts. So, no reason to think that we've got a DC offset issue, at least yet. Probably the same thing going on with Jason's there. Let me double check what GJ said to us is going on with their HomePod here. Yeah, so they got the pop of death. Occasional popping sound even when it's not playing any sound. And I asked them, I told them I was like, a quieter popping, that's totally normal, nothing to be worried about. They said the popping is definitely not subtle. So, not quite what we're seeing here. Oh, HomePod does not like when you unplug the woofer while it's on. It does not like that. Alright, so that's booted up. And now we hear no popping. I didn't hear any popping that time. So what could be the problem? What could it be? We might have a case here of two HomePods that we're going to have to take our time on. Yeah, I'm sure I do. Well, what happens if I play some music through this for a sec? Is that going to make that DC offset get bigger? Nope, our offset's still holding pretty solid at 2 millivolts. Alright, folks. We are probably going to have to call the stream quits here for now, and I'm going to have to take some time to do a bit of a deeper dive on, let's see, Jason's and GJ's HomePods here. I originally suspected that both of theirs were coming from too much DC offset, but what we're seeing here is saying otherwise. At least right now, we're not experiencing any issues. And so, we just want to make sure we take our time and make sure we actually fix the problem here and not just throw some new parts on it and call it good and hope for the best. So I'm going to leave, I've got Jason's HomePod behind me plugged in and powered on. We're going to leave this one plugged in and powered on too for a few hours, and we're going to come back and check in on these and see where their DC offset may have grown to. So in any case, despite only getting one of 3 HomePods fixed during the stream now, I hope you all enjoyed our work so far, and maybe I'll be back online with another live stream later this evening or tomorrow morning, more likely, with an update on Jason's and GJ's HomePod here. In any case, again, hope you all enjoyed. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments. I've also got a wealth of information on my website at nixfix.com. Check it out sometime if you want to fix your own HomePod, or shoot me a message if you want to get yours fixed by me. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Goodbye!